Hello, boys and girls. In this video, I will be doing today's math lesson with you. Now, today's math lesson is in your packet or in your math book. It begins on page 181, 181. At the top, it has this 5-5, and it's the green pages. So far, our pages have been blue, and then our homework page yesterday was that purple color. So now we're working on these ones that have the green at the top. These are our problem-solving pages. And before we get started doing the work on this page, I want to talk to you a little bit about this word at the top that says estimate. So what is an estimation, and what does it mean to estimate? Well, boys and girls, an estimate, or to estimate, is when we take a guess about something. But it's not just a wild, shot in the dark, close your eyes and throw out a number guess. We call it an educated guess because before we make our guess, we use the knowledge that's already in our brain, the things that we already know, to help us make a smart guess, okay? So the directions here say don't measure the pencil, but guess how long the pencil is. Now, if I were to say, oh, I bet you it's 300 cubes long, that would not be a very smart guess. Well, the reason it wouldn't be very smart is because I've measured with cubes before, and I don't remember it taking 300 cubes to measure that pencil. So if I want to make an estimated or an educated guess and proper estimation, I have to look at that pencil and think about what I already know about cubes. Well, I know that a cube is a little bit smaller than 2 of my fingers, so I'm going to guess that this pencil is probably around 3 or 4 cubes long. That feels like a pretty smart guess. Now, it says here that an estimate is not an exact answer, and that's okay. When we make our estimations, if we don't have the exact measurement, that's all right, as long as we're close, because that says that we used our smart brains and we used what we know to make our guess. So now that we've guessed it's about 3 or 4 cubes long, I'm going to measure, and you have cubes at home too, so if you want to get out your cubes and measure with me, that would be awesome. Remember that when we're measuring, we always line up our first unit with the edge of the object we're measuring, and make sure that each of our units touch along the way so that we're not leaving any space. And we can see here that this pencil is just about 4 cubes long. So that was a pretty smart estimate, or a pretty smart guess to say 3 or 4, because we can see here that when we measured, it actually ended up being 4 cubes long. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at objects, using our smart brains to make educated guesses about how long or how big we think the objects are, and then we'll measure to see how accurate or how close our estimates were. So it says estimate the length of each pencil and then use cubes to measure the pencil. So the first thing we're going to do before we even use our cubes and before we even start to measure, we're just going to look at this pencil and we're going to say, okay, using what I know about cubes, about how many cubes long do I think that pencil is? And right now, on this line where it says estimate about, I want you to write down a number, okay? If you think that that pencil is about 1 cube long, you'd put a 1 there. If you think it's about 2 cubes long, you'd put a 2 there. If you think it's about 3 cubes long, you'd put a 3 there. 4 cubes long, you put a 4 there. I'm going to guess, using what I know about cubes, I'm going to guess that this pencil is about 3 cubes long. That's my estimate. Now, that may or may not be what it measures, but that's what I'm guessing. So now that I've made my estimate, and I hope that you made your estimate too, take out your cubes, and let's measure that pencil and see if our estimate was pretty close. Well, look in here, friends. When I measured, it looks like it is just about 3 cubes long. So my estimate, or my guess, was pretty close. Okay? All right. Now let's move down to the blue pencil. And this time, I'm not going to tell you my estimate because I want you to come up with your own idea. How many cubes long do you think that blue pencil is? And on the line right here where it says estimate about how many cubes, go ahead and write your guess. And when you're done writing your guess on the line, then you can take out your cubes and measure, okay? All right, friends, when I measure this pencil, I get 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes long. So on the line where it says measured, put the number 4. Do not change the number that you put here. Leave that number there. Okay, remember, our little robot friend up here told us your estimate is not the exact answer. So sometimes you might get the exact answer, but other times you might not. As long as you're close, that's what's important, okay? So now we're going to turn the page and we're going to do the same thing here, only this time we're going to think about paper clips. Remember, our paper clips are a little bit bigger than our cubes. So here's the length of a cube. Here's the length of a paper clip. It's a little bit bigger. So when you're making your estimation for paper clips, keep that in mind. Right now, take a guess and on the line write about how many paper clips long you think the branch is. And I'm not going to write down my estimate because I want you to come up with your own guess. And when you're done writing your estimate, I will measure this branch for us and then we can get the measured length in paper clips. If you have small paper clips at home, you're welcome to measure this as well. But I know that some of us don't because we didn't plan on being home this week. So I will go ahead and measure it for us. So now that you have your estimate, I'm going to go in with my paper clips and I'm going to make sure that I'm lining them up at the edge. And it looks here like this branch is about 2 paper clips long. So on the line where it says measured length, put the number 2. Now don't change the number that you wrote here. That was your guess. But look at the 2 numbers and see, did you come close? Were you within 1 or 2 from the answer? If you were, that was an awesome guess. If you were way off, if you said 5 or 7 or 10 paper clips, you need to start rethinking your estimates and using more of that knowledge in your brain, okay? So now we're going to look at our sunflower here. We're going to measure how tall it is, and this time we're using our cubes. So we're not using paper clips, we're using cubes. So right now, think about cubes and what you know about cubes, and guess about how many cubes tall do you think the flower will be. And then right here where it says estimate about, in that box there, I want you to write your guess. And again, I'm not going to put my guess down because I want you to put your own guess. All right, now that you've made your guess, let's take our cubes and let's measure from the bottom, making sure we line up our cube with the bottom there, making sure that each of our cubes touches along the way. Okay, and it looks like this sunflower is about 3 cubes tall, okay? It's not an exact measurement, but it's about 3 if I look there. From top to bottom, okay? So as long as your estimate came close to 3, maybe you guessed 4 or 2, then that was a pretty good estimate. And if you guessed spot on 3, then you're a really good estimator. For this one, it's kind of a little fun thing for you to do at home. It says draw a picture of an object, okay? And then whatever you decide to draw, you could draw a pencil or a glue stick or maybe one of your stuffed animals. Maybe Emma wants to draw her Barbie that joined us for morning meeting yesterday, or Lily had a rubber snake. Maybe she wants to draw her rubber snake. I don't know. You decide. Draw a picture of something. Take a guess how many cubes long it is and then measure it and put your answer. So that's something you can do right now at home. Okay? And when you're done doing that, we can move on. So if you want to pause the video and do this one, that would be awesome. And then you can unpause and we'll continue. Okay, so I am at the top of page 183. Up here at the top, it's just a reminder that an estimate is when we do an educated guess. We take a smart guess using our knowledge about how long we think an object will be. And now we're going to go down to this more practice area and we're going to do some more estimating and measuring. So looking at the banana, it says use cubes to measure. About how many cubes long do you think that banana is? And put that guess right here on this line. If you think that banana is 1 cube long, you'll put a 1. If you think it's 5 cubes long, you'll put a 5. You make your guess. Now we'll measure. You can use your cubes if you'd like. If not, you can watch me use mine. So it's about 1, 2. So our banana is about 2 cubes when we measure it. So go ahead and put your 2 there and then compare your estimate to your measured length. Make sure you got pretty close, okay? Now we're looking at the length of the bicycle from one end to the other. So looking at the bicycle, think about what you know about cubes and guess about how long do you think that bicycle is. And put that guess on this line. Put that number here. Okay, and now we're going to measure our bicycle. So we'll get our cubes out here. Make sure we're lining them up with the ends so we're not missing any of the spots to measure. Okay, and this looks like it's about 4 cubes long, okay? Remember, it's not an exact measurement, but it is close. So we're going to put 4 cubes long. So if you said 5 or 3 or 4 for that one, those were all really good estimates, okay? Now if we turn to the top of the next page, here we're going to be thinking about paper clips. So when you make your guesses, think about what you know about a paper clip. Remember, this is the length of one paper clip that we'll be measuring with. And tell me about how many paper clips long do you think that frog is? And put your guess on this line. All right, now that you have your guess, I'm going to measure. It looks like that frog is just about 1 paper clip long. So go ahead and put a 1 for your measured length. And if you said 1 or 2 paper clips, you were a pretty good estimator. All right, now we're looking at this big long stick. You need to take a guess about how many of those paper clips do you think it would take to measure that stick. And on this line, put your guess. How many paper clips do you think I'll need to measure that stick? Okay, and now I'm going to take my paper clips and measure it for you so you can count along with me. I'm going to make sure that I'm starting right at the edge here where the red line is and making sure that each of my paper clips along the way touch so that there's no space between them that will affect my measurement. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 paper clips. How many of you said 5? Did ya? How many of you came close? I was thinking maybe 6 or 7, but if you said somewhere between 4, 5, 6, or 7, those are all great guesses. So on the line for the measured length, we're going to put a 5. And then whatever you had for your estimate, you don't need to change it because, again, our estimate is not an exact measurement. It's just an educated guess, okay? All right, now we're going to take a look here at this, oh gosh, it looks maybe like a flagpole. And we're going to estimate about how many paper clips long do you think that flagpole is going to be. And once you've made your guess, put it on the line right here. And in just a minute, I'll measure it for you so we can see how close you came. All right, so now it's time to measure. Lining up my paper clips. There's 1, 2, 3. That flagpole is about 3 paper clips long. How many of you got really close to 3 for that one? Some of you are awesome estimators. And some of us, it takes practice to estimate. It's a skill that we work on, just like any of the other skills. So if some of your numbers are a little far off, that's okay. The more we practice, the better you'll get. And if all of your answers are really close or spot on, then that just means you're really good at estimating. So it says here, Oscar needs to measure the length of a book, and he's going to use cubes. How could an estimate help him? Well, I'm thinking a way it could help him is he could say, I think it's going to be about 10 cubes long, so he'll grab 10 or 11 cubes. Okay, if he only grabbed 3 cubes and it was a big book, well, he's not going to have enough. So an estimate could help him know about how many cubes he needs to measure the book. Okay? All right, boys and girls, we have one more page here that we'll work through together. This one is page 185. I see a butterfly. And for this page, remember we are measuring with paper clips. So when you make your guess, think about that paper clip, and then I will measure it on the screen for you so you can see how close you came. So go ahead and guess how many paper clips long do you think the butterfly is, and put that number here. And now I'll measure it. It's about, 1 paper clip long. Next, we're looking at this wrench. Go ahead and make a guess about how many paper clips long you think the wrench is, and put your guess right here where it says estimate. And now I will measure for you to see how close you came. The wrench is about 2 paper clips long. Were you close? All right, looking at our little caterpillar friend here, take a guess how many paper clips long you think he is, and put that guess on this line. And now I will measure for you. 1, 2. He's about 2 paper clips long. All right, and the last one on this page we're measuring is this clarinet. My daughter Aubrey plays the clarinet. Go ahead and take a guess about how many paper clips you think it will take to measure the clarinet. We'll put that number here. And I will measure now for you, making sure I'm lining up my clips. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. The clarinet was about 4 paper clips long. Nice estimating, friends. Okay, last page. It says find an object to measure. Draw a picture of your object. You will not need to measure your picture for the questions. Okay, so you're going to draw something here, whatever you want to draw. Maybe you draw a pencil, maybe you draw a crayon, I don't know, you decide. But draw your picture and then estimate the length of your object. So about how many paper clips long do you think it is? Okay, it says you will not need to measure your picture for questions 5 through 8, but then it says right here, measure the length of your object using a paper clip. Well, that's silly, so we're just going to skip number 6. Okay, and then right here it says write a story using an estimate to measure the length of an object. Does your estimate help you solve the problem in the story? I'm not going to make you write that down, but if you want to talk to your mom or dad about estimation and maybe come up with an estimation problem for them, that would be awesome. So boys and girls, I hope you learned a thing or two about estimating today, making educated guesses. Estimating is something that you will do, oh goodness, your whole life. Anytime you are getting ready for different events, you're going to need to estimate. I use estimation almost every single day of my life when I'm planning what to make for dinner for my family, when I'm planning what supplies I need to buy for the classroom. Even when Mrs. Hatkoff and I put together your math kits for you and we put the cubes in your bags, we made an estimate of how many cubes we thought you would need. So estimating is a skill that you will use your whole life. And this is a great way to practice it. When you make an estimate and then you measure, it helps your brain understand more about measurement, and it helps you get more accurate in your estimation. I hope you enjoyed this activity today. Maybe now you can go get outside if it's nice, or go play in your house and maybe make some estimates of how big things are and then use your cubes to measure. That would be fun. All right, friends, I'll see you later. Bye.